The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Carefree Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40689. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. First, let's take a look at some images here of the side of the pumper, cab section, midship pump panel area, and then the rear body all on the driver's side. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. Then we'll focus on a full image here of the passenger side. Moving into the rear section of the body, into the mid section of the pump panel area, and then the cab section next. Let's go ahead and start now with some detail into the front section of the cab. We'll start first just under the front bumper with two open-ended tow hooks on the passenger and driver's side. Also on the face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns, passenger and driver's side. Located directly in the center, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. As we move up onto the bumper extension, you'll find a D-handle gains you access into your front hose storage location. As we move to the driver's side, top side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving to the cab face on the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. Just inside that location is the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam will be located on the inside. Directly above that, an emergency warning light cluster forward facing. Above that, engine 821 identifier and 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the outer edge of the mirror, you'll find a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. Onto the roof area, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight, and all the way up onto the top of the vehicle is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items that we just talked about. First, let's start with the front bumper extension. On the side, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. D-handle gains you access into the front discharge, where you'll find a swivel discharge. This is foam-capable dry deck material in the lower section. As we move around now to the front bumper extension, you'll also find top-mounted your mechanical siren. Let's go ahead and go inside the cab area now. We'll start with the driver's side first, starting with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, combination of a door lock and latch, electric window controls, and then also a grab handle. Moving now into the cab space, let's start first into the step wheel area after we take a general look. Starting first in the step well on the very far left-hand side of the step or forward step area, you'll find the air inlet. Also, when plugged into Shoreline Power, the battery voltage indicator will indicate battery status. As we move inside on the engine tunnel, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. Vehicle's VIN number, all the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid capacity type. At the floor level, you'll find the mechanical siren foot pedal. Moving up to about the left knee of the operator, this is where you'll find the master battery switch. It's a quarter turn, and also the engine, transmission, ABS, J1939 diagnostic port. Some switches are located here for ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit. Moving further up, you'll find your pump shift. This is on the other side of the steering column, where you'll find the road to pump instructions, and then also from pump to road. Just a reminder, for pump operations, you'll need pump engaged and also OK to pump illuminating before exiting the cab for pump operations. Moving just up to the right, you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror controls for the right and left side mirror. Also, when we look to the steering wheel, you'll find controls for your windshield wipers. Moving now to the dash area, we'll start on the left with the ignition and start switch. Just inside that location, switch panel labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage and disengage all emergency lights. Headlight switch and a panel switch. Moving to the right, OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. Moving up to the cluster now, you'll find the transmission oil, def level, and water temp. On the opposite side, you're going to find volts, fuel, front and rear air. Located in the center, you'll find the tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display in the tally lights above and below the tachometer and speedometer, in addition to the information center directly in the center. Just a general view here to the right. And let's move to the very front section where you'll find your backup camera monitoring system. As we move further down in this same area, you'll find the siren control module and also PA speaker system. We do have some switches located in this area. These control the engine brake, settings for that brake for low, medium, and high, a selector switch for either air horn or electric horn, and then also mirror heat, and to the very far right, the load manager. Let's move further to the right where you're going to find the yellow diamond, which is our pull to apply our system parking brake and push to release. These are the spring brakes on the rear axle. To the right, Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button, informational note, pump in drive. Moving further to the right, you'll find your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Moving just to the right of this location, we have additional panels here for additional options, and also on the far right is your siren brake for your mechanical siren. Moving forward to this location on the dash, you might find these red and white indicators indicating spare wiring. Air conditioning located in the center. As we move to the very center section, top side, you'll find the seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they're in the seat and belted. You'll also find do not move your apparatus if this light is on, indicating you may have a compartment or door open. Let's go ahead and look overhead of the driver's position where you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 9 feet 10 inches, the length of the vehicle 30 feet 8 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating 42,000 pounds. Moving further to the right, we have some additional switches for your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Additional switch panel here for scene lights. We have front scene, driver scene, passenger scene, rear scene, and high beam flash for emergency response. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find an additional blank panel and then also your traffic advisor. Moving now, just a quick look to the rear. There are 3 forward-facing seats across the rear wall that do house SCBAs. Directly behind, you'll find a Shoreline outlet. When plugged into Shoreline power here with your battery charger, it will maintain batteries. As we move to the exterior, this is directly behind the driver's seat, additional storage location. As we move downward, you'll find Alcoa wheel, Michelin tire, and a visual sight gauge indicator into the center axle area. Moving now to the rear cab area. Let's first start with the door panel. Affixed to that door panel, safety and warning placard information, electronic windows, grab handle, combination door lock, and latch. Overhead in the cab area, in the rear cab area, you'll find a push on and off white and red lens lights. There's a quick image here of the 3 forward-facing SCBA seats. We do have some additional cabinetry located here. This is above the engine tunnel area. And you'll also find a top-mounted box LED lighting in this space. As we move to the rear portion, you'll find 12-volt access via USB. And then as we move to each side, you'll find additional storage here for hand gloves. In the very center, your access door here for your daily checks for oil and transmission. Let's go ahead and move now from this location to the exterior where you'll find your Shoreline power. This is an auto eject 20 amp. Just below that, you'll find the DEF fill location for 7.3 US gallons. Quick image here with the blue cap. Let's move around now to the pump panel area. Let's start first at the very top section where you'll find the 3 crosslays. crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and a 2.5-inch crosslay. All of these crosslays are foam capable. Starting in the red module, you're going to find your Husky 3 foam system. This is the control module along with instructions and also the foam level indicator for tank A. Moving to the gray module, you'll find your master pump intake and master pump discharge gauge. In between the two of those, test gauge ports. These are for testing purposes and they're currently plugged. As we move further to the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor. And then moving down on the pump panel area, let's start on the left with a informational placard for your Husky 3 foam system specifications. All of our color-coded and labeled discharges. This is front discharge, crosslay 1, 2, 2.5, and also deluge. Warning regarding fall injury. When climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Also, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment after proper training. To the right, you'll find your large diameter discharges. These are the 2.5s and also large diameter on the passenger side. Up next to the pressure throttle governor, you'll find an audible speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate, allowing you to increase or decrease sound. Also a pump indicator that pump is in gear and okay to pump in the upper right. Moving down, you'll find the driver rear discharge. Also to the right, you'll find the tank fill and recirculating line. Moving just to the right, you'll find an engine cooler. This is a twist. And then moving down, you'll find the water level indicator and then also your minimum operation maintenance schedule. Moving all the way to the very far right, you'll find the fire pump primer. It is an air prime, and for best practices, at least 1,000 RPMs when engaging the primer. Moving down to the lower left, difficult to see in this image, but this is your tank to pump. As we move to the left, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge, and then also a warning here regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Moving further to the right, you'll find the Pierce logo American Flag Eagle. This is your large diameter passenger side inlet. And then also as we move just to the right, you'll find the manual pump shift. And then just to the right further on the side, kind of difficult to see in here, this is your main pump drain. Let's move down to the lower section of the pump panel, and you'll find in the pan door area a foam drain valve. Moving down to the left, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Moving further to the right, you'll find the 2.5-inch female auxiliary driver's side inlet, locally controlled via ball valve. Also the Watrous placard, indicating you have a pump at least 1,500 GPM. Warning placard indicating for foam, do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also your draft foam tank inlet. To the right in the pan door, this is the yellow handle. This coincides with the diagram on the door, which indicates for fill operations or for regular foam operation. Let's move down to the very bottom where you'll find the foam pump discharge drain and foam pump intake drain. Back to the Watrous placard. Once again, capacity 1,500 GPM. Minimum operation maintenance schedule for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 PSI. Associated GPM on the left-hand side of the placard, and then the associated RPM on the right-hand side of the placard. When in pump mode, your governed speed is 2050 RPMs. Let's move now into the body compartments. We'll start first in this section. At the very bottom section, you have a pull-out drawers. There are two located here. Moving to the over wheel compartment, you'll find a D-handle will gain you access to the rear side of the tool board. It will lock into position on the hinge side. As we move now just in front of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 3 SCBA bottles with retaining straps. Moving now to the bottom, Michelin tire Alcoa wheel, and now to the rear portion of the axle where you'll find 2 SCBA bottles with retaining straps and the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It's the silver cap. Let's move to the rear compartment where you have 2 adjustable shelves, a pass-through compartment, and then also pull-out tray and wheel chocks just underneath this compartment. The tray will lock into position. The release is located on the right. All compartment doors open now. And let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. Let's start first with your hose bed lights and rear scene lights. These are the two cup switched on the driver's side. As we start at the top, this is the 2.5-inch rear discharge. We also have a traffic advisor in the very center. Identify some of the safety and warning placards here. I've got a warning because of the hose load above. There is a possibility of entanglement. As we move down, additional warning here, pressure hazard, caps may be under pressure, be cautious when opening them, and then also a warning regarding climbing on and off the vehicle. Make sure you face the vehicle when doing so. In the very center, you'll find your backup camera with a protected shroud, and then to the right, also just a warning regarding do not ride on the apparatus while the vehicle is in motion. Let's move just slightly downward to the roll-up compartment door in the very center. This is a pass-through compartment, meaning from passenger to driver's side. In the upper right-hand corner, we have a pan door with a D handle, gains you access into this space. Also below that, you'll find your 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof, 10-foot attic, and then 2 pike poles located in the upper portion. As we move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle, adjustable shelves, LED lighting, and also a pull-out tray on the lower section, release located on the right for when it locks into position when it's fully extended. As we move to the over wheel compartment, SCBA bottle storage to the rear of the axle for 3 SCBA bottles with retaining straps. Back down to the rear tire where you'll find a Michelin tire Alcoa wheel, and then back up to the SCBA bottle storage here for 3. This is just in front of the rear axle. As we move down, this is the same location where your exhaust is located. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be cautious where you park your vehicle, especially during regen operations. Let's move from this location into the compartment, and also 2 adjustable shelves and ventilation LED lighting. Now on to the mid section of the truck. Same compartment as far as the pass-through at the top for your pre-connects, crosslay 1, 2, and the 2.5-inch crosslay. Netting here. As we move to the pump panel area, you'll find your cab lift. There are instructions for its operations for raise and lower, also some caution and danger placard information. Pressure hazard warning as we move down and identify a few of these. Pierce logo American flag eagle, large diameter passenger side inlet. Large diameter passenger side discharge is green, and then also a 2.5-inch discharge, which is orange. As we move into the lower left corner, this is an access for the pan door, which leads into where the relief valve is located for adjustment. We do have a primer drain, and then all of our other color-coded and discharge drains are across the very bottom section. Storage location for hose storage in the running board area. Let's go ahead and move now into the cab section. We'll start first by the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, a grab handle, door lock and latch combination, and electric window controls. As we look inside, you'll find push on and off red or white lens lights, your air conditioning unit at the very top section, 3 forward-facing seats which do house SCBA bottles and brackets. Additional cabinetry in the front section, which we've previously discussed. Let's go ahead and move now forward to this location. This is directly over the front axle. Moving downward to the front axle where you'll find a visual sight gauge indicator into the center of the axle. As we move into the officer's space, first we'll start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, combination door lock and latch, grab handle, and then also electric window controls. As we move into this space, let's look to the floor area where you'll find a foot pedal which will control the mechanical siren. Moving now to the front dash area, I'd like to point out that we have a foot pedal located on the left just for reference. On the right hand side, A pillar is where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Moving now to the dash area, just to the left of the dash is where you're going to find 12-volt access via USB. Let's go ahead and move overhead of the officer seat, where you'll find blank panels for adding your radio and additional accessories. Front scene light. Just a general view here to the rear section from the officer seat looking back. And then also directly behind the officer seat, you'll find a bus panel. All compartment doors open on the exterior. Let's go ahead and move up onto the roof of the body. Hatch compartments on both left and right side, 2 forward, 2 rear. Also, we have in the very rear section of the hatch compartments, we have an additional storage location here with a D handle gains you access to the rear of the truck. Moving now forward of that of the dunnage area. This is going to be where you'll find your top fill location for the water tank, and then also top fill location for your foam tank. This is the water tank located here. As we move just forward of this location, you'll find your top fill foam. I would like to point out for Class A foam, there is a warning here regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam. As we move to the forward dunnage, you'll find master stream device, and then also your Husky 3 hydraulic reservoir, and there's a fill location in the lower left-hand side. Extend again located here for your master stream device, and then here's a quick shot of your crosslays. Moving now to the cab area, this is a non-walking surface. We identify that and also place these placards on both left and right sides as a non-walking surface. Moving now to the rest of the images are going to be that of the chassis and engine and undercarriage. As we move underneath, you'll find open-ended tow hooks, 6,000-pound direct pull. We're now in the driver's side. On the driver's side frame rail, when the cab has been fully tilted, please place this safety bar into position. Do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Maintain equal pressure on both left and right cylinders. Your vehicle is equipped with a TAC4 independent front suspension. As we move down to the lower portion of the frame rail, this is where you'll find the negative and positive battery jumper terminals. Also, you'll find the DEF tank located here, 7.3 gallons, blue cap. There'll be no additional audio from this point forward. This will conclude the additional chassis images. Congratulations, Carefree Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40689. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire Equipment sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.